Captain Ellie Martinez stood at the bridge of the human spaceship, Curiosity, her eyes fixed on the massive structure growing larger on the view screen. The Galactic Council station orbited Proxima Centauri b, appearing like a giant metal flower with petals stretching in all directions. Lights twinkled across its surface, marking the homes and workplaces of thousands of alien species. "Amazing," she whispered. After years of preparation, humans were finally taking their place among the stars. The first official diplomatic mission to the Galactic Council would begin in just a few hours. Ellie turned to her crew. They were the best Earth had to offer. John Peterson, a tall man with kind eyes and a quick smile, served as the diplomatic officer. Samantha Wells, with her sharp mind and careful attention to detail, was their xenobiologist. Alan Garcia, always curious and adaptable, worked as their cultural liaison. And Kate Murphy, strong and watchful, headed security. "Final checks, everyone," Ellie said. "We've trained for this moment for 3 years. Let's make Earth proud." The crew nodded, excitement clear on their faces. They had studied alien customs, learned basic phrases in 12 non-human languages, and memorized thousands of potential cultural taboos. Nothing could surprise them now. The communication panel beeped. "Incoming transmission from the station," Kate announced. "Put it through," Ellie replied, straightening her uniform. The screen changed to show a blue-skinned alien with large blinking eyes and fluttering gill-like structures on either side of its slender neck. Water bubbled gently around it in what appeared to be a personal aquatic environment. "Greetings, Earth vessel Curiosity," the alien said, its voice translated through the ship's communication system. "I am Safety Commissioner Trellix of the Aqualian Federation. I must speak with you before you dock." Ellie stepped forward. "Commissioner, I am Captain Ellie Martinez. We're honored to make contact. Is there a problem with our approach?" The alien's gills flapped quickly. "Not exactly, Captain. But I must insist that before your crew disembarks, we provide mandatory warning labels and safety briefings specifically designed for your species." A moment of silence fell over the bridge. The crew exchanged confused glances. "Warning labels?" John finally asked, moving to stand beside Ellie. "We've already received all required vaccinations against cross-species diseases. Our environmental suits are prepared for all atmospheric variations." The safety commissioner's large eyes blinked rapidly in what seemed like surprise. "The warning labels aren't for your protection, Officer Peterson. They're for everyone else's." Kate laughed, then quickly covered her mouth when she realized the alien was serious. "I don't understand," Ellie said carefully. "Are humans considered dangerous?" "All species have potential dangers," Commissioner Trellix explained. "But humans are unique. You will understand once you complete processing. Please adjust your course to Docking Bay 47C rather than the diplomatic entrance. Our safety team will meet you there." The screen went dark before Ellie could ask more questions. "Well, that was weird," Alan said, breaking the awkward silence. "Do they think we're going to attack them or something?" Samantha shook her head. "If they considered us hostile, they wouldn't let us dock at all. This is something else." "Whatever it is, we'll handle it professionally," Ellie decided.
"Kate, adjust our course to Docking Bay 47C. Everyone else prepare for arrival, and let's keep open minds." 3 hours later, the crew of the Curiosity found themselves in a large processing center. The room reminded Ellie of airport security.
On Earth, but designed for bodies and senses she could barely imagine. Creatures of all shapes, sizes, and compositions moved through various scanning devices. Some floated in bubbles of liquid, others skittered on multiple legs, and a few appeared to be living clouds of gas. A tall, thin alien with 4 arms approached them. Its skin was pale yellow, and it wore what looked like a uniform covered in symbols none of the humans recognized. "Welcome to Galactic Council Station Alpha. I am Zix, assigned to guide your species through processing," it said, voice melodic and calm. "Please follow me." Zix led them to a separated area where 5 stations were prepared. Each station held strange equipment and screens displaying human anatomical diagrams. "What exactly are we being processed for?" John asked. diplomatic training evident in his polite tone. Warning classification, Zix replied simply. All species require appropriate safety labeling when interacting in multi-species environments. But why were we diverted from the diplomatic entrance? Ellie pressed. Zix's 4 hands made a complicated gesture. New species must always complete safety protocols before formal introduction, especially species with your particular traits. Before anyone could ask what that meant, Zix directed each human to a separate station. Ellie watched as various devices scanned her from head to toe. A smaller alien with 6 eyes operated the equipment, occasionally making notes on a transparent tablet. Please solve this puzzle, the 6-eyed alien said, sliding a cube-like object toward Ellie. The cube shifted colors and shapes as she touched it. After a minute of examination, Ellie figured out the pattern and rearranged it correctly. Interesting, the alien murmured. Now please watch this screen and tell me how this scenario makes you feel. For the next hour, Ellie and her crew underwent various tests. They solved puzzles, answered questions about hypothetical situations, provided biological samples, and demonstrated basic physical abilities. Throughout it all, their alien examiners made notes and exchanged looks that the humans couldn't interpret. Finally, they were brought back together. Zix approached carrying 5 badge-like devices. These are your mandatory warning labels, Zix explained. They must be worn at all times while on the station or any Galactic Council world. Ellie accepted hers, examining the strange device. It was lightweight and seemed to shift colors depending on the angle. What exactly does this warn others about? Zix looked uncomfortable. The specifics are complex, but essentially it alerts other species to potential human behaviors that might cause concern. Like what? Kate asked, frowning at her badge, which glowed a brighter red than the others. Your tendency toward what? You call curiosity combined with physical capabilities makes you potentially unpredictable, Zix said carefully. The badges help other species prepare for human interaction. John looked concerned. Are we the only species that needs these warnings? All species have warning classifications, Zix assured them. It's just that humans are the only ones who consistently register above level 1 across all individuals. Most species have warnings for exceptional individuals only. The crew fell silent, processing this information. Don't be discouraged, Zix added, seeing their expressions. The Council is very interested in establishing relations with Earth. Your species is quite unique in the galaxy. Is unique good? Alan asked. Zix's 4 hands made another complex gesture. Unique is interesting. Now, shall we proceed to your quarters? The diplomatic meetings begin tomorrow, and I'm sure you'll want to rest and prepare. As they followed Zix through corridors filled with alien beings who noticeably adjusted their paths when they spotted the humans' badges, Ellie wondered what exactly they had gotten themselves into. Their mission had just become much more complicated than anyone on Earth had imagined. The crew of the Curiosity woke to the soft chime of the station's morning cycle. Ellie checked her warning badge, which still glowed with a steady orange light. She had slept with it on as instructed, though it felt strange against her skin. Their quarters were comfortable enough, a 5-room suite designed to approximate Earth conditions. The air was slightly thinner than they preferred, and the gravity felt just a bit off, but it was close enough to home. A gentle knock at the main door pulled Ellie from her thoughts. She opened it to find Zix waiting, all 4 arms holding different devices. Good morning, Captain Martinez, Zix said. I trust you rested well? Today we begin your official safety briefing before the diplomatic meetings. The crew gathered in the common area, drinking the coffee substitute they had brought from Earth. It wasn't quite right, but it helped them feel more alert. So, John began, can you explain more about these warning badges? Mine is yellow while Kate's is red. What does that mean? Zix placed a small projector on the table. It displayed a chart with 5 color levels. The badges reflect your individual risk assessment, Zix explained. Based on our tests, each human has different potential for what we call unexpected behaviors. Dr. Wells has a blue badge, level 1, indicating minimal risk. Most species never go above level 1. Samantha looked pleased, adjusting her blue badge. What makes me level 1? Your responses showed careful consideration before action. You prioritize safety and predictability, Zix said. Captain Martinez and Officer Peterson are level 2 orange, showing moderate unpredictability. And my red badge? Kate asked. Level 3, Zix confirmed. Your physical capabilities combined with your protective instincts and decision-making speed create higher potential for unexpected actions. Alan examined his own orange badge. Is this bad for our mission? Not necessarily, Zix said. The labels simply help other species prepare for interaction. For example, Crystallians will know to secure fragile items when Officer Murphy enters a room. That seems prejudiced, Kate said, frowning. It's actually quite practical, Zix countered. Consider that many species have evolved in environments with strict patterns. The hive minds of Betelgeuse function through complete predictability. Meeting humans who might suddenly change direction mid-conversation or laugh at inappropriate moments could cause them significant distress. John leaned forward. But what specifically makes humans need these warnings? Zix activated another display. I'm glad you asked. This is today's briefing topic. The display showed a list titled Human Behavioral Warnings. First, Zix began, humans experience emotions in unpredictable intensity patterns. You might be calm one moment and excited the next with no external change in circumstances. That's just being human, Ellie said. Precisely. But most species don't function this way, Zix explained. Second, humans possess irrational curiosity that often overrides self-preservation. Example? Alan asked. Your species climbed mountains and dove into oceans before you had proper equipment, simply because they were there, Zix said. Third, humans demonstrate alarming creativity in using objects outside their intended purpose. That's called innovation, Samantha noted. It's unpredictable, Zix countered. Fourth, humans show inexplicable resilience despite fragile biology. You continue functioning despite injuries that would incapacitate most species. That's a bad thing? Kate asked. It's unexpected, Zix replied. And fifth, most concerning, humans experience boredom that leads to spontaneous behaviors. The crew exchanged glances. These traits seemed perfectly normal to them. Also, Zix added, you're the only known species that deliberately consume substances known to be toxic for recreational purposes. You mean alcohol? John asked. And caffeine, spicy foods, and various other substances that trigger pain receptors or alter brain chemistry, Zix confirmed. Most species avoid discomfort. Humans sometimes seek it. Ellie stood up. I understand why these traits might seem strange, but they're what helped humans survive and thrive on Earth. Exactly, Zix said, surprising them. Your species developed in an environment requiring adaptability. Most species evolve toward stability and predictability. Neither approach is wrong, just different. After the briefing, Zix led them on. A tour of the station. The massive structure housed representatives from hundreds of worlds. The central hub buzzed with activity. Beings of all shapes and sizes moved through the wide corridors. Ellie noticed how other species reacted to their badges. Some moved aside, giving them extra space. Others approached with visible curiosity. A few seemed to deliberately avoid them. They entered a large area called the Exchange, a marketplace where goods from across the galaxy were traded. Shops and stalls filled the space, each offering items more unusual than the last. You have free time to explore before your diplomatic meeting this afternoon, Zix said. Please remain in public areas and keep your badges visible at all times. The crew split up, eager to see what the Exchange offered. Samantha headed toward what appeared to be botanical specimens. John wandered to a section with data crystals and information exchanges. Alan was drawn to a technology display. Kate found herself looking at what might be weapons or tools. Ellie watched her crew disperse, then turned to Zix. Are we really that dangerous? Zix's 4 hands made a gesture Ellie was beginning to recognize as thoughtfulness. Not dangerous in the sense you mean. But unpredictable, yes. And in a galaxy where most species value order and pattern, unpredictability can be disruptive. As if to prove the point, a commotion erupted across the exchange. Ellie turned to see Kate holding a silver object, while a tall, insect-like alien clicked its mandibles rapidly. The alien's multiple eyes focused on Kate's red badge. "What's happening?" Ellie asked, hurrying toward the scene with Zix. "Officer Murphy picked up a Trilaxian cutting tool," Zix explained, moving quickly. "They're very particular about who handles their equipment." When they reached Kate, she was trying to explain herself to the agitated alien. "I was just looking at it. I didn't mean any harm." The Trilaxian's translator converted its clicks into words. "Warning badge red. Should not touch. Danger to self and tool." "I'm sorry," Kate said, carefully placing the tool back. "I didn't know." Zix stepped in, making complex gestures while speaking in clicks too fast for the human's translators to catch. The Trilaxian gradually calmed down. "This is why we have the warning system," Zix explained when the alien had moved away. The Trilaxian wasn't angry, it was concerned. Their cutting tools are calibrated to their nervous systems. If a human tried to use one, it could cause serious injury. "I wouldn't have used it," Kate protested. "I was just curious." "And that," Zix said gently, "is exactly why your badge is red. Curiosity before caution is a distinctly human trait." As they continued through the exchange, Ellie noticed Alan examining a floating display of what appeared to be musical instruments. Before Zix could intervene, Alan reached out and touched one. Instead of causing problems, the instrument responded with a beautiful cascade of tones. A nearby alien with multiple eyes widened in surprise. "How did you do that?" "The soul harp only responds to emotional resonance." Alan shrugged. "I just thought about how beautiful it looked." The alien shopkeeper examined Alan's orange badge, then looked at him with new interest. "Perhaps human unpredictability has advantages. Would you like to try another?" By the time Ellie gathered her crew for the diplomatic meeting, she had a new perspective on their warning badges. They weren't just warnings, they were introductions. In a galaxy of predictable patterns, humans stood out. Whether that would help or hinder their mission remained to be seen. The diplomatic meeting took place in a large, circular room. Representatives from 12 different species sat around a table that seemed to adjust to each being's specific needs. Ellie noticed how some seats were filled with water, others with special gases, and a few seemed to emit subtle vibrations. "The Council welcomes Earth's representatives," announced a tall being with golden skin that shimmered under the lights. "I am First Speaker Lorne of the Galactic Council. We are pleased that humanity has reached the stars and joined our community." Ellie stepped forward. "On behalf of Earth, we thank you for this welcome. We hope this meeting begins a long and beneficial relationship between our worlds." The meeting progressed smoothly at first. John Peterson presented Earth's proposal for trade and cultural exchange. The alien representatives listened politely, asking occasional questions about Earth resources and human customs. Everything changed when a small, purple alien with large eyes asked about human entertainment. "We understand humans create stories about things that never happened," the alien said, sounding confused. "Why do you spend time on false information?" John smiled. "We call that fiction. It's how we explore ideas and possibilities. We enjoy imagining different worlds and situations." The representatives exchanged looks that Ellie couldn't read. Their warning badges seemed to glow brighter under the scrutiny. "You deliberately think about things that are not real?" asked another alien, this one resembling a large insect. "Is this not confusing?" Alan stepped in. "It's actually very helpful. Fiction helps us prepare for different possibilities and understand feelings in situations we haven't experienced directly." The room filled with a low murmur as the aliens discussed this among themselves. Ellie noticed Zix standing near the door looking concerned. "This explains much about your warning classifications," First Speaker Lorne finally said. "Your species spends significant mental energy on imaginary scenarios. This makes your reactions unpredictable." "Is that bad?" Samantha asked. "Different," Lorne corrected. "Most species focus only on what is. Humans focus on what could be. This creates both opportunities and challenges for our community. The meeting continued with more questions about human behavior. The aliens seemed particularly interested in how humans made decisions and solved problems. By the end, Ellie felt like they had been studied more than welcomed. As they left the meeting room, Zix approached them. That went better than expected. The council seems genuinely interested in humans. They treated us like a science experiment, Kate complained. Not at all, Zix said. They're trying to understand how to work with you. Remember, most species here have been part of the council for centuries. They've developed patterns of interaction. Humans are new and different. Speaking of different, Alan said, I noticed something odd. When other species enter rooms, there are lights or sounds that seem to announce them. But it's different for each species. Zix nodded. Those are species-specific comfort notifications. For example, aquarians need to know if a heat-producing species enters a room because it might affect water temperature. Crystallians need warning if a sound-producing species approaches because certain frequencies can damage their structures. And what do the notifications say about humans? Ellie asked. That's complex, Zix admitted. Different notifications for different species, but essentially they announce that an unpredictable being is present. Some species find this exciting. Others find it concerning. The next day, the crew split up to learn more about the station. John and Samantha went to the Library of Worlds to research council history. Ellie attended a meeting with the station commander. Alan and Kate decided to explore the lower levels of the station where most of the day-to-day operations took place. Kate's red badge attracted attention everywhere they went. Maintenance workers from a dozen different species watched her carefully. Some even secured loose tools when they noticed her approaching. This is ridiculous, Kate muttered. I'm not going to break anything. Alan laughed. Think of it from their perspective. You're basically walking around with a sign that says, might do something unexpected. They entered a large chamber filled with plants from different worlds. The air felt fresh and clean compared to the rest of the station. A group of small, green aliens with leaf-like appendages worked among the plants. One of the aliens approached them, examining their badges with interest. Humans, welcome to the Oxygen Garden. I am Plen, Garden Supervisor. This place is beautiful, Alan said, looking at the incredible variety of plants. Some glowed softly, others moved as if breathing, and a few seemed to be growing before their eyes. Thank you, Plen said. The garden provides 20% of the station's oxygen and 30% of its food supply. As they walked through the garden, Kate noticed a section where several plants appeared to be struggling. Their leaves were discolored and they drooped sadly. What's wrong with these? She asked. Plen made a whistling sound that their translators didn't catch. Those are Lumerian light feeders. They require a specific wavelength of light to thrive. Our artificial light system cannot perfectly reproduce their home sun. Kate examined the lighting system above the plants. Have you tried adjusting the spectrum? The system is not designed for such specific adjustments, Plen explained. We have ordered specialized equipment, but it will not arrive for several cycles. Kate's security training included basic engineering. Without thinking, she reached up and began examining the light fixture. Her red badge blinked rapidly as she worked. Officer Murphy, Alan warned. Maybe you shouldn't. But Kate had already opened the fixture's control panel. This is a simple spectrum modulator. If I just adjust these settings, Plen made an alarmed sound. Your warning badge, level 3. You should not modify station equipment. It's fine, Kate assured him, making a few quick adjustments. I'm just changing the light output. See? Now it shifted toward the blue end of the spectrum. The effect was immediate. The struggling plants seemed to perk up, their colors intensifying. Plen stared in shock, first at the plants, then at Kate's red badge. How did you know to do that? Plen asked. Kate shrugged. I didn't really, but I've worked with similar systems before and I figured it was worth trying. Other garden workers gathered around, chattering excitedly as they observed the reviving plants. Kate's red badge continued to blink, but the aliens no longer seemed concerned by it. This is most unusual, Plen said. According to protocol, we should have waited for proper authorization and equipment. Sometimes you have to improvise, Alan explained. It's a human thing. By the time they returned to their quarters that evening, word of Kate's fix in the oxygen garden had spread. When the crew gathered for dinner, Zix joined them with news. The garden staff has requested Officer Murphy's assistance with other plant sections, Zix said, sounding surprised. And the engineering department wants to know how she modified the light system. Is Kate in trouble? Ellie asked. The opposite, Zix said. They're impressed. The garden supervisor specifically asked for the red badge human with the quick-thinking hands. Kate smiled. So maybe our unpredictability isn't always a bad thing? Perhaps not, Zix admitted. Though I should mention that 3 other departments have now updated their security protocols specifically because of what you did. The crew laughed, and for the first time since arriving at the station, their warning badges didn't seem like such a burden. Maybe being unpredictable had its advantages after all. A week passed on the station. The crew of the Curiosity settled into a routine. Each morning they met to discuss their tasks for the day. Each evening they shared what they had learned. Their warning badges remained a constant presence, but they were getting used to them. Today was different. The entire crew had been invited to a special council session. According to Zix, this was a rare honor for a new species. Remember, Ellie told her crew as they prepared, we represent all of humanity today. The council will judge Earth based on our behavior. They wore their formal uniforms and made sure their warning badges were clearly visible. Zix met them at their quarters, looking more nervous than usual. This is an important day, Zix said. The full council rarely meets with new species so quickly. Your unique qualities have attracted attention. Good attention or bad attention? John asked. Both, Zix admitted. Some council members see human unpredictability as valuable. Others see it as concerning. Today may determine which view prevails. The council chamber was enormous. Hundreds of different species filled the room, creating a riot of colors, shapes, and sizes. Some floated in special chambers. Others stood on platforms of various heights. A few appeared as nothing more than shimmering lights. First speaker Lorne welcomed them from a central platform. The council acknowledges the representatives of Earth. You may approach. The crew walked forward, feeling the weight of countless alien eyes upon them. Their warning badges seemed to glow brighter than ever. Humans, Lorne continued. In the short time you have been among us, you have created quite a stir. Your species has been the subject of much discussion. Ellie stepped forward. We hope that discussion has been positive. It has been mixed, Lorne replied. Some council members are concerned about human unpredictability. Others find it intriguing. Today we have a test for you. Ellie glanced at her crew, then back to Lorne. What kind of test? The chamber darkened. A large holographic display appeared in the center of the room, showing a complex 3-dimensional maze of pipes, chambers, and moving parts. This is a representation of our station's main cooling system, Lorne explained. 3 days ago, it began to malfunction. Our best engineers have been unable to locate the problem. Samantha studied the display with interest. Your engineers couldn't fix it? The system was designed by 3 different species, each responsible for different components, Lorne said. None can see the problem in the areas they did not design. We believe human unpredictability might allow you to find a solution. The crew exchanged surprised looks. This wasn't what they had expected. We're not engineers, Ellie said carefully. We have basic training, but that is precisely why we are asking, Lorne interrupted. Your species approaches problems differently. You make unexpected connections. This is why you wear warning labels, but it may also be your greatest strength. Alan stepped forward, his eyes fixed on the holographic display. His orange warning badge blinked rapidly as he studied the maze of pipes. May I interact with the model? He asked. Lorne gestured, and the hologram expanded. Alan reached into it, turning the model to examine different angles. The chamber fell silent as hundreds of alien representatives watched. The pipes in Section 5 don't match the flow rate in Section 8, Alan muttered. And this valve here is vibrating slightly. John joined him, pointing to another area. Look at the temperature differential between these two chambers. Could that be causing pressure problems? Soon the entire crew was examining the model, pointing out observations and suggesting possibilities. Their warning badges blinked in sync as they worked together, discussing theories and testing ideas within the hologram. The council members watched in silence. Zix stood nearby, all four hands clasped together in what appeared to be nervous anticipation. After 20 minutes, Kate pointed to a small junction deep within the system. There, that connector is the wrong size for the pipes it's joining. It's causing microturbulence that's disrupting the whole system. Samantha nodded. And the turbulence is creating heat, which is affecting the cooling efficiency. A simple replacement should fix it, Alan added. The chamber remained silent for a long moment. Then first speaker Lorne spoke. Our engineers have been examining this system for 3 days. You found the problem in 20 minutes. It was just a fresh perspective, Ellie said modestly. It was more than that, Lorne replied. Most species specialize. They become experts in one area but struggle to connect different fields of knowledge. Humans seem to naturally look for patterns across different systems. The hologram disappeared, and the lights returned to normal. Lorne addressed the full council. Honored representatives, you have witnessed what I described. Humans approach problems in ways we do not. Their unpredictability, the very reason they wear warning labels, allows them to see connections we miss. A crystalline being rose from a seat near the front. First speaker, this demonstration proves nothing. Solving one engineering problem does not justify the risks of unpredictable behavior. This started a flurry of comments from different council members. Some agreed with the crystalline being. Others defended the humans. The chamber filled with sounds of dozens of different languages as the translators struggled to keep up. Ellie glanced at Zix, who was watching the debate with concern. Is this normal? She whispered. No, Zix replied quietly. The council usually reaches consensus without open debate. Your presence has disrupted their usual patterns. Should we leave? John asked. Absolutely not, Zix said. This is actually good. They're engaging with new ideas rather than following established protocols. Finally, Lorne raised a hand for silence. The chamber quieted immediately. The council acknowledges the concerns raised, Lorne said. But we also recognize the potential benefits of human perspective. Therefore, we propose an experiment. The Earth representatives will participate in 3 key projects facing challenges. Their warning classifications will remain in place, but they will be given limited authority to suggest solutions, the crystalline being glittered in what might have been agitation. And if their unpredictability causes harm, then the experiment ends, Lorne said simply. But if they succeed, we will reconsider how we view human unpredictability. The council voted. The holographic display showed the results. The proposal passed by a narrow margin. Lorne turned to Ellie and her crew. Do you accept this challenge? Ellie looked at her team. Each one nodded. We accept, she told Lorne. But we have a condition of our own. A murmur ran through the council chamber. Zix looked shocked. Humans are making conditions? Lorne asked, sounding surprised. Just one, Ellie said. If we succeed, we want the council to reconsider the warning labels for all humans, not just for us, but for any humans who join the galactic community in the future. The chamber fell silent, again as Lorne considered this request. Your condition is noted, Lorne finally said. If you succeed in all 3 projects, the council will review the human warning classification system. As they left the council chamber, Ellie noticed their warning badges glowing with a new intensity. The challenge ahead would be difficult, but for the first time, she felt like the badges might not be permanent after all. The 3 challenges set by the council tested every member of the Curiosity's crew over the next 2 weeks. The first challenge involved helping the medical team with a mysterious illness affecting a group of Medusan traders. The second required them to resolve a trade dispute between species that communicated in completely different ways. The third asked them to improve the efficiency of the station's food production systems. Each challenge pushed them to their limits. Their warning badges blinked constantly as they worked, sometimes flashing warnings to nearby aliens when the humans became particularly excited about new ideas. On the final day, the crew gathered in their quarters, exhausted but proud. They had completed all 3 challenges successfully. "I still can't believe we figured out that the Medusan illness was caused by their new trade goods absorbing radiation from their ship engines," Samantha said. "It was such a simple fix once we realized the connection." "And that trade dispute," John added with a smile. Who would have thought that both species were actually saying the same thing, but their translators were interpreting the emotional contexts differently? Kate laughed. "My favorite was watching Alan convince the agricultural teams to mix plant species from different worlds in the same growing chambers. Their faces when the plants started growing better together than apart." Ellie looked at her. "Team with pride. You've all done amazing work. No matter what the council decides about the warning labels, we've proven that human unpredictability can be valuable." A chime at the door interrupted them. Zix entered, looking more animated than they had ever seen the normally calm alien. "The council has reached a decision," Zix announced. "They request your presence immediately." The council chamber was even more crowded than before. News of the humans' successes had spread throughout the station. Species from across the galaxy had come to witness the council's decision. First speaker Lorne welcomed them to the center of the chamber. "Representatives of Earth, you have completed the 3 challenges set before you. In each case, your unique perspectives provided solutions that our own experts had not considered." The crystalline being who had opposed them earlier rose again. First speaker: "I must acknowledge that the humans performed better than expected. However, their warning badges were active throughout the challenges. Their unpredictability remains a concern." "A valid point," Lorne agreed. "This brings us to our decision." The room fell silent as Lorne activated a holographic display. It showed the familiar warning badge system, but with modifications. After careful consideration, the council proposes the following. Human warning badges will remain in place. However, they will be modified to serve a dual purpose. The display changed, showing a new badge design. It still had color indicators, but now included additional symbols. The new badges will not only warn of potential unpredictability, but will also indicate areas of potential contribution. For example, Officer Murphy's badge would still show level 3 unpredictability, but would also identify her as a valuable problem solver for security and engineering challenges. Ellie frowned. "So, we're still being labeled as unpredictable?" "Yes," Lorne said simply. "Because you are. This is not a judgment, Captain Martinez. It is an acknowledgement of reality. Humans approach problems differently than most species. This makes you unpredictable, but also incredibly valuable." John stepped forward. "But other humans who come after us will still have to wear warning labels?" "They will wear recognition badges," Lorne corrected. "The design will be modified to emphasize both caution and appreciation. All newly discovered species go through assessment. Humans are not being singled out for warning labels. Your species is being recognized for unique abilities." Ellie looked at her crew, seeing mixed reactions on their faces. "May we discuss this privately?" "Of course," Lorne agreed. The crew huddled together at the edge of the chamber. "I don't like still being labeled as potentially dangerous," Kate said. "But they're acknowledging our strengths too," Samantha pointed out. Alan shrugged. "Does it really matter what the badge says if other species recognize we can help?" John nodded. "I think that's the point. The badge isn't just warning them about us anymore, it's telling them when they should seek us out." Ellie considered their opinions. "So we're comfortable with this compromise?" They all nodded, and Ellie turned back to address the council. "Accept your proposal with one additional request. We would like to participate in designing the new badges to ensure they properly represent human capabilities." Lorne seemed pleased. "Your request is granted. The council appreciates your cooperation." 3 months later, the Curiosity prepared to return to Earth. Their diplomatic mission had been more successful than anyone could have anticipated. Trade agreements had been signed, cultural exchanges arranged, and a permanent Earth embassy was being established on the station. As the crew packed their belongings, Zix visited them one last time. The alien now wore a badge of its own, a diplomatic liaison symbol indicating special training in human interaction. "The station will feel strangely predictable without you," Zix said. "Many here will miss your unique perspectives." Ellie smiled. "Earth is sending more representatives soon. You'll have plenty of unpredictability to deal with." "I look forward to it," Zix replied, surprising them. "Working with humans has been the most interesting experience of my career." As they boarded the Curiosity, each crew member received a final gift from the Council, a small crystal containing a holographic image of the station, a reminder of where humanity first joined the galactic community, Lorne told them during the farewell ceremony, and a symbol of how differences can become strengths when properly understood. The Curiosity departed from the station the next day. As Earth came into view on their return journey, Ellie gathered her crew on the bridge. "When we left Earth, we were worried about making a good impression," she said. "We never expected to be labeled as unpredictable or potentially dangerous, but in the end, that very unpredictability proved to be our greatest asset." John smiled. "I wonder what the people back home will think about these new badges. They'll probably find them just as annoying as we did at first," Kate said with a laugh. "But they'll understand eventually." As the blue planet grew larger in their view screen, Ellie looked down at her badge. It still showed her level 2 unpredictability rating, but now also displayed symbols indicating diplomatic skill, problem-solving ability, and cultural adaptation. "You know," she said thoughtfully, "I think I might actually miss this badge." "You won't have to," Samantha pointed out. "The Council insisted all returning humans continue wearing them on Earth until the new embassy opens. Something about maintaining consistent protocols." The crew laughed together. Their badges blinked cheerfully in response to their emotions. No longer a mark of caution, but a badge of honor. A symbol that in a galaxy that valued predictability, sometimes the most valuable quality was being just a little bit unexpected.